know that's not my shit I just heard. I know that's not my shit I just heard. Y'all done lost their damn mind. So they done took the story that I was telling about the lynching of a black woman, Betty Gardner, check it out, and they put a white woman's face on it. And to make matters worse, they took my audio and shit, my face. I'm gonna put some screenshots up here. And made it as though I was talking about this white woman. I don't know if I should be impressed by the audacity or upset or intrigued. But like bottom line, I'm kind of confused and extremely irritated. Y'all, I need y'all to use y'all discernment. Nothing, and I repeat, nothing like what they've done to our people would ever be done by us to them in this country. You can't find me a single story in American history where a black person skinned a white person alive, hung them, cut their stomach up open, stomped on their unborn baby, set them on fire, and riddled them with bullets. You can't find me a single story about a group of black people, including one black child, raping, brutalizing, stabbing, setting on fire, doing all these different things. You can't do it in this country. But since you can't, they decided to create a narrative and take my video talking about a real person, Betty Gardner, who was, if I can even remember all the different torture tactics, she was raped, she was whipped, stabbed numerous times, strangled, carved KKK in her chest. They sliced her neck open, urinated on her, defecated on her, and left her there. They said all that happened to a white woman. Okay. The audacity. And on Mother's Day, Betty Gardner was a single mother as well. Rest in peace. And may her offspring and her offspring's offspring see peace forever. Also, thank you to the people that tagged me in this. I'm going to put the pictures up here. But thank you to y'all, because y'all some real ones. I did not know that this was happening. And apparently, it's been happening for a long time. They're taking my stories and attaching white women's faces to them. The audacity. I gotta give it to these people. Gotta give it to them. Y'all, this is why I started my nonprofit. This is why our mission is to keep Black history in schools, because this is the shit that they are doing. This is the shit that they want to do. To change history. To teach their children that, no, that didn't happen to black people. That happened to us. They did that to us. And we retaliated. That is exactly what they're trying to do to our history. I have a nonprofit called the Black Party Foundation dedicated to keeping Black history in our schools. I could use your help. Help me preserve our history, because this is what the fuck they're doing with it. And it's going unchecked. Y'all will be speaking at the Juneteenth parade in Piedmont Park, June 14th. Please come check it out. Learn a little bit more and mingle with each other. Let's start building community and protecting Black history, because this is absolutely absurd to see it firsthand. That's it. Did you notice? The hospital let this man die because they had, quote, no black blood on hand. He was a veteran. His name is Maceo Snipes. This is part 2 of being a black veteran in America. Now, although it's not in any chronological order, there's no reason for you to have to watch part 1 before you watch part 2. I definitely urge you to watch part 1. It's going to be in the playlist below. But like I covered in part 1, when black veterans came back from both World War I and World War II, they were met with so much brutality and racism. Mostly because while they were overseas, they were being respected by Europeans, white people. And pictures and word got back to America that, hold on, they're actually mingling with white women, specifically white women. And we just can't let that go on. Now, I do mention it on my, I believe it was the Tuskegee Airmen series, where they sent generals out to basically say that the black soldiers were not doing well overseas. They needed to send them back. They actually, America dispatched generals and I guess you could say military leaders to go out there, observe them, but then come back with the conclusion that, oh, they don't need to be over here in Europe, send them back to America. See, now this was dangerous for them to be over there mingling with white people, because this gave black people a sense of humanity. This gave black people a sense of respect and what it feels like to actually be treated as human, which is everything the American white person during this time does not want them to feel, because it is a threat to white supremacy. And I don't want you to think that, oh, just because they were veterans, the military were the only people in on making these veterans' lives horrible. It went down to, like I said, the hospitals denying black veterans blood transfusions because there was no, quote, black blood on hand. It came down to pharmacies not wanting to give these black veterans their medication because they don't serve black people, allowing hundreds and thousands of black people, veterans, to die because they simply could not get their medication. Along with making black veterans' lives hell, they also put together numerous lynch mobs, and they did it strategically. It was kind of a way to never let the black person see peace. So it was every single day a different lynch mob go and terrorize this family until they leave, or until you just feel like you want to kill them. For instance, a lynch mob of 10 to 30 white men out of Walton County, Georgia, terrorized a black family. Their names were George Dorsey and his pregnant wife, May. There was also another close family. Their names were Roger and Dorothy. I think it was Malcolm. The mob hung these 4 people from Moore's Ford Bridge. Imagine driving down the street and there's 4 people hanging. They let them hang for days. This was such a widespread practice. This was well outside of Georgia. This was everywhere in the United States. From California to New York to Idaho to Florida, everywhere you can think. The governors of these places and the gubernatorial candidates were actually working pretty closely with the presidents at this time. For instance, J. Edgar Hoover was working closely with, sorry, I had to sneeze, but he was working closely with a segregationist named Eugene Talmadge, and he wrote to J. Edgar Hoover that if I get the vote, I will make sure to take care of those Negroes. Now, in any context, that would be horrible, but this was regarding a case where a black man got into a dispute over his wages with a white man, and he ended up stabbing him in self-defense. The black man did get off, but this is what the gubernatorial candidate was writing to the president, saying, if you help me, I'll make sure to get this person. And like I said, it was not just the military. It was not just the gubernatorial candidates. It was not just the presidents. It was everyone down to the local chapters of the KKK. They communicated very well. So wherever there were black veterans, the local KKK chapters were used as tools. They were used as troops to terrify and terrorize these black people, specifically from voting. Now, I'm pretty sure you know, but black people gaining the right to vote was one of the most controversial, actions taken in this country. And it became dangerous once you got these prideful veterans that went over there overseas and fought for our country, and they feel like that they're justified in their stance, and they should be able to run for office, and that they should be able to vote. When in reality, in this country, we just simply were not human, and that privilege was not allotted to us. And